If you're looking for credit and capital for your business, you're in the right place. In just a minute, I'll share with you 9 steps to finding the credit and capital you need for your business. However, before I uncover the 9 essential steps, I'd like to share with you a quick story of one entrepreneur's road to financial freedom, or shall we say, financial mess. Let's take a trip back a few years. Remember school? You're sitting at your desk looking at the chalkboard, learning about statistics, and wondering, when will I ever use this stuff? Your future without school seems a long ways away. You can't wait to get out and start working and making money. Before you know it, graduation day comes and you're told about this door of opportunity with the future ahead of you and all that you can do. You get a job, buy your first car, take a great vacation, and eventually buy a home. But then you get the bug to start your own business and follow that detour sign to the world of entrepreneurship. You start your bakery and are doing pretty well. And of course, since all your friends and family are saying, now that you are a business owner, you must be rich. Where's the new car? So you decide to buy the new car. And of course, a few toys and eventually that new high-rise condo downtown. All because of the money you're going to make as a new business owner. After a few years, you are approached by a few business investors to potentially expand your business with delivery trucks and new locations across the city. You're so excited about the opportunity, you want to jump on it right away. But of course, it's going to take some money, so you go to the bank and sit down with your banker. After he punches a few numbers in the computer, he turns to the computer screen to you, and you see the word rejected flashing on the screen. You can't believe it. You ask yourself, what happened? Well, now that the story's over, let's take a look. This business owner graduated with a neutral credit score. Not bad, not good, but good enough to get some basic credit cards. Then he got a new job, uses the credit, which is good. When you use the credit initially and pay on time, your score will likely go up. So he used credit to buy the new car, go on vacation, and eventually got a mortgage. The credit score now was from good to excellent. Now he leverages the excellent credit and starts the bakery, buys a new car, gets new credit cards for the business, leases several pieces of equipment with his personal credit to get the business off the ground, and because he feels the need for showing off a little, he buys more toys and of course does so all on credit, and finds himself eventually in a place where he needs to get more credit just to help pay for all the credit, taking advances and using one low interest offer to pay off a higher interest credit card. Sound familiar to anybody? Eventually, it all catches up to him, and his credit score plummets to a poor rating. He starts missing payments, but opportunity comes his way with some new partners who are willing to put some money in to expand as long as he is too. This could be his ticket to turning things around. But he goes to the bank and is declined. He is now forced to accept a new detour sign. He's forced to sell the business and his toys just to help pay back the debt he owes, if he's lucky. He's now back to the job with the original car and renting that house he sold to the investor a few years back, facing a new Your Future Ahead sign, wondering what's in store. The story of this entrepreneur could be the same of many small business owners who have had some initial success. So, what do we do not to end up in a situation like this, or at least turn things around if we are headed down this path? Let's take a minute and put our learning caps on for a moment. Can you think of why the business owner was rejected? The answer isn't exactly what you might think. In my opinion, it's a lack of education. Whether it be from his parents or school, no one taught him how to protect his credit and his money. Instead, he has to learn it from the school of hard knocks. How many of you think you have a great understanding of how personal credit works? How did you learn that? Was it an expensive lesson? Let's put it this way. Knowing what you know now, if a course was offered back in high school or college to teach you everything you needed to know about personal credit, what would you have paid for it had you had the money? $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, maybe even more? Well, personal credit is an extremely important part of our lives, whether we like it or not. The good news is that personal credit can be restored. It takes time, but there is an end to the tunnel. What it takes is knowledge, a plan, execution, And remember, knowledge in itself isn't power, it's the application of knowledge that is. So let's take a look at personal credit scores for a minute from the view of a business owner with a little more knowledge now. So for some of you, this may be review and some of it may be new. By the way, we'll get to the 9 steps of building your business credit here in just a minute. Here is how your personal credit score is put together. It's important to understand this in order to understand why it's so important to separate your business activities from your personal. Your personal score is made up of the payment history, 35%, which includes lawsuits, judgments, liens, past due items, and those that you've paid agreed. Now, amounts owed is 30%. Amounts owed is your amount of balances, percentage used, number of accounts with balances. 15% is the length of credit history. This is the time since accounts have been open, time since accounts have their last activity in them. And there's 2 with 10%. New credit represents 10%, which is the number of recently opened accounts or the number of inquiries. And then there's 10%, which is the types of credit and the number of those types of accounts that you have. Now, if you think about it, does the credit scoring model know you just started your own business and are using some of your personal credit for the business? Or that you continue to use it as you grow the business? Are they comparing your credit activity the same way as a typical consumer? Do you have more transactions in every area than a typical consumer? Well, I think so. By not knowing how to separate your personal and business credit and finances, you are throwing money down the drain. The cost of poor personal credit is huge. It reflects on the interest rates that you pay and the access to capital. And of course, the opportunity cost. The opportunity of not being able to do the things that you wanted to because your personal credit score wasn't where it should be. So what do you do if you're a business owner? You need to move to a new credit situation where all your personal and business activities are not being used by your personal credit only. You create a separate business credit report, profile, and score where you have your business activities report to the business credit bureaus, which turns your personal and business scores to positive marks as long as you're paying your bills on time. As a business owner, you can separate your personal and business credit activities, thus improving your chances of increasing your personal credit score, or at least protecting it from lowering over time. With business credit, there are bureaus just like there are bureaus with personal credit, so you need to keep track and be aware of these. It's also important to know that there are personal credit scores and there are business credit scores. You need to monitor and understand these as well to understand the creditworthiness of your business. Now, there's a lot of good information online to help you improve your personal credit and protect it. And there's lots of information online about business credit as well. The problem is that not much of it is very good. Why? You can verify personal credit information against federal laws associated with protecting our personal credit reports. There's several, but there's only one law for discriminating against someone's race, religion, etc. for granting credit to the business. Nothing else. That's it. So there isn't a third-party authority to verify the truth about what people are writing online. You have to either rely on the Business Credit Bureau's information to help you, which is, if you think about it, their customers are businesses buying their reports, not you, the small business owner. So who do they want to help most? Or you could sift through the information online and hope to find something that really helps without getting you into trouble, putting your business or you into a high-risk status with lenders and the credit guarantors, and being put on a no-credit list. Okay, so I know the next question. What makes us the experts then? We were the first business credit coaching program out there that started over 10 years ago, and we've been referred to in the industry as the grandfather of corporate credit. We've been featured and interviewed on CNN, Money, Fast Company, Business Week. We've been published with Entrepreneur and Experian Business as well, just to name a few. So how about those 9 steps I promised? Well, here we go. First, we need to get a good strategy to help create the business credit score and profile, as well as protect our personal credit. The good news is the strategy also is part of the 9 steps. The most important lesson to remember is that building your business credit is not a destination, it's a journey that only stops when you exit your business. You'll always want to be working on building your credit and financing in the company, no matter what stage of the business that you're in. So here's step 1. Create a new identity. No, I'm not talking about controversial tactics like a new social security number or anything like that. It's as simple as creating a new legal separate entity from you. You'll want to form an LLC or corporation and obtain an employer identification number, which is for tax purposes for that business. The second, you need to make sure your business is in compliance. Lenders don't want to lend to a business that they perceive as high risk. So anything you can do to lower the level of risk that you have, you need to do now, such as have a business license, a phone line, a physical address. There's actually over 2,000 checks a lender can do. So make sure you take the time at this step and do it right the first time, or you may end up like many other naive small business owners in the no credit bucket. The third step is to create a presence for your business. The compliance steps and presence are the foundation of your company. You must build the foundation or find yourself having to tear it down and start all over again if you don't do it right the first time. The presence phase involves registering with the business credit bureaus and directories where lenders search for your business. You want to make sure that you show up when they're searching for you. Once you're in compliance and built a presence, you'll want to start applying for trade credit with vendors whose clients are businesses just like you. These are office supply companies, computer stores, all those. Now, don't ignore this step. Trade credit is the single largest source of lending in the entire world. It's when one business sells their services or products to you on credit terms. You want to work with companies that don't ask for your personal credit check or a personal guarantee, and that they report to the business credit bureaus. This can take a little bit of research to find the right companies, but it's well worth the effort. Otherwise, you could be back to having one credit profile, which we all don't want. Once you set up the trade lines of credit, use them and make your payments on time. It's critical to make sure the payments are made on time. Step 6 is applying for larger lines of credit. Now, make sure you ask for higher lines of credit as you use the credit and pay on time. This helps improve your business's overall picture to the other lenders now, who will rely on the business credit compliance, presence, trade history, and the score in order to grant you higher lines of trade credit. While you're working with the first 6 steps, it's very important not to ignore your personal credit score. Personal credit is one of the most valuable assets you will have as a small business owner. You need to protect it and make sure that you're building it. Once you've built the business credit scores and worked on obtaining a good personal credit score, you can apply for various lines of cash credit and utilize alternative lending sources. However, I would highly recommend not applying for cash credit until this stage, even if you qualify earlier. You want to make sure you don't use cash credit for what you could have used trade credit for. Conserve your cash. Now, only if you still are looking for additional cash to grow your business, or you have a huge opportunity coming your way, then you'll want to work on the 9th step to seek out investors. There are plenty of strategies for working with and presenting to investors, but the biggest challenge is typically, where do you find them? The answer is to be prepared by going through the first 8 steps we just covered, and then network, network, network. And when the opportunity comes up, your preparation and opportunity will meet.